Hey everyone, I'm Sison, and today I'm here to review Sony's latest super zoom camera, the DSC-HX300. Now last year when I reviewed the HX200, I was blown away by its 30 times optical zoom and the image quality that it produced in good lighting conditions. This year Sony has upped their game with a massive 50 times optical zoom and also increased its megapixel count to 20.4 megapixels from the previous 18.2 megapixels. But does this increase in megapixels improve the image quality? And how well does this lens perform at 50 times optical zoom? Keep watching to find out. The HX300 has a nice solid build, even though it is primarily made out of plastic. It has a sleek matte black finish and a metal zoom ring on the lens. There are ports on the side of the camera to accommodate a multi-interface terminal and a mini HDMI port to connect to a high-definition TV. And at the bottom we have an SD card slot or memory card slot, as well as an X-type battery slot, which is rated to give you about 330 shots per charge. The camera has a large recessed rubber grip, making it easy for anyone to hold for long periods of time, especially for people with large hands. The camera weighs about 650 grams with the battery and a memory card inside, and whilst it's not the lightest camera on the market, it definitely has that solid premium build to it. The zoom ring is very smooth to turn and has very little resistance. It also serves as two functions to be either used as a zoom ring or a manual focus ring, which is selectable on the side of the lens, and I find that very handy. In addition to that, you have a mode dial on the top, a rocker switch, a custom button, a jog dial, and a very simple button layout for certain functions. The camera also features a tilting LCD screen, which is very handy for low-angled or overhead shots. The electronic viewfinder is pretty good for a super zoom camera, but still not as good as say the A99 or even the A58 electronic viewfinders. So for this type of camera, it's adequate. Navigating through the menu is simple and changing settings is very quick and easy. And if you ever need help on how to use your camera, you can always use the built-in guide by pressing the question mark button on the camera. I also have a tutorial on how to use this camera, so feel free to click the link in the description below or the link on the video itself. There are some dedicated buttons as well as a custom button which allows you to assign a specific function without having to dive into the menu too often. Now, one of the camera's headline features is of course the 50 times optical zoom, and whilst it's not the first camera to have this feature, it's certainly a good upgrade to have from its predecessor. Add optical steady shot to it and you get some good stabilized images and footage, but I would still recommend using a tripod if you have shaky hands. Just to give you an idea of how close you can get with the 50 times optical zoom, here's a video showing the camera from its widest setting to its maximum zoom. Clear image zoom, which allows you to digitally zoom in up to 100 times with the same resolution, is a useful feature to have when you feel that the optical zoom just isn't enough. Although quality degrades just a bit, it's still a major improvement over digital zoom, where the image becomes too grainy. Unfortunately, the camera misses out on its GPS functionality, as well as its proximity eye sensor for the viewfinder, which I found very useful on the previous model. Although it's not a deal breaker, it would have been good if Sony added to its features instead of taking them away. However, you do get the usual Sony features built into this camera, such as sweep panorama, picture effects, background defocus, dual recording, and HDR, which many people will have a lot of fun with. If you're a person that uses filters, you'll also be happy to know that this camera has a 55mm filter thread. So that means you can attach converters and filters such as a protective filter or a neutral density filter. The camera takes about a second and a half from powering up to taking a photo and about the same time to power down. It can also shoot up to 10 frames per second using high continuous drive or 2 frames per second if you select low. Bear in mind, if you do use a 10 frames per second shooting mode, you have to wait quite a while for the buffer to clear until you can start shooting again. I'm actually very impressed with the autofocus speed, especially at full zoom. It's very quick to focus in bright sunlight and may take less than a second to focus in dark conditions, with the assistance of the AF sensor situated on the front of the camera. The camera uses a new 20.4 megapixel sensor, and after using the camera for a couple of weeks, I can say that the camera is very similar to its predecessor, the HX200, despite the increase in resolution. Low light performance is good till about ISO 800, and I wouldn't mind pushing it to ISO 1600, although noise does start to creep in and you do begin to lose detail. Again, like its predecessor, the colors are vibrant and sharp in good lighting conditions, and again, I only wish that the camera had RAW capture. The camera is capable of shooting in Full HD with a selection of frame rates at your disposal. Active Steady Shot aids in stabilizing the camera and does a very good job at it, given the camera has a very long zoom. The inbuilt mics do a decent job at capturing sound, and video quality from this type of camera is excellent given Sony's expertise in its video division. Here is just a quick clip to give you an idea of the video quality that you can expect out of this camera. The HX300 is certainly a great camera with an impressive amount of zoom that delivers some decent images, especially in low light situations. People who are upgrading or just buying their first super zoom camera may be a bit disappointed with the omission of a few features by today's standards, such as Wi-Fi, GPS, RAW capture, and even a hot shoe. But it's not all bad news, as the camera is very fast to focus even at full zoom and has a solid grip to make holding the camera comfortable for long periods. The camera also has a ton of features such as sweep panorama, HDR, and picture effects to cater for nearly anyone's photographic needs. To be honest, I really like this camera, and I would highly recommend it for anyone that's looking for their first super zoom camera, especially one that has the most zoom on the market at the moment. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below, and if you already own one, let me know what you think of it, and like and subscribe to my channel for more Sony CyberShot camera reviews and tutorials. You can also check out more sample photos on my Facebook page by clicking the link below. Happy shooting, and thanks for watching.